What's up, everybody? I am here with Tyrael, and we're going to do a little overview on Midnight Heist. We've shown some matches, but we're going to try to educate people on how the game works and some of the strategy behind it. What's up, Tyrael?
What's up, Kicks? Let's get it on, man.
Let's get it on. So, what we're going to do is we're both going to rip a draft, go through some of the strategy, what some of the different things do. And yeah, hopefully, if you're interested in Midnight Heist, this is a good primer before the game goes live.
I'm going to mental vault right now.
Awesome.
See what rolls I get.
I hope for only the best for you.
As long as you don't get the 3 combo on Minnesota clan, I'm happy.
Yes, indeed. There we go. My Vault 26 came in. Going to reveal my team. Whenever you're drafting, no matter what mode, all the drafting is done on chain and uses VRF. So it's super Gucci. So yeah, first thing I'll do is I'll just look at one of the cards. So Terry, I'm looking at Chrono. So you can see on a card, you have HP, obviously health points. Then you have damage. So that's how much damage you're going to do per turn. Then you have accuracy. And accuracy is basically based out of a max of 100. The higher accuracy, the more likely you're going to do full damage. And if it's above 100, you'll always do at or above 100, you'll always do full damage. Then you have speed. Speed doesn't seem important at first, but it's really important. It basically determines your turn, your priority in turn to do your action. So slower speed means you're going to go later in the turn. Faster speed means you're going to go early in the turn. It also affects how you rotate into lanes. So if you want certain people to rotate in lanes ahead of others, you got to keep an eye on speed. Then you have slots, and slots determines how many gadgets you can equip to that character, that operator. And then you have their class right here, which is assassin. Then you have their ability. So this is going to do a lot like a supercharged damage. Abilities only activate once per round. And then you have the color of the card, and that's going to represent what faction they're a part of. And if you run 2 factions together, or 2 or 3 of the same faction together, you get a bonus. And that will be identified much easier on the cards as we continue to update it. But that's pretty much everything on the operator cards, right, Matt?
Yeah. We'll add in that clan image on the card, so you'll be able to note which clan each is a part of. And then when you have a bonus active, it'll highlight. And you'll be able to hover and see what the class bonus is on hand, so you'll know that when you're drafting.
Yep. And then assassins generally are doing more damage. They're generally going to be weaker. So you can see Kronos, Inspector here have 100 HP versus a Sentinel, which is like a tank. Sentinel is going to do a little less damage, but has 275, so almost like 3 times the base HP. Sentinels also have 2 slots, whereas assassins have 1 slot for gadgets, so they can bring in a little bit more equipment. And then engineers are defined by having a lot of utility. So they do very little base damage, but some engineers can take in up to 3 slots. Some of them have up to 4.
Yeah, and one thing to note too on the abilities between different operators are some are passives and some are actives. So an active is something that's going to take up a turn to use. A passive is something that's just going to be consistently applied to the character. So like Kit's well-equipped ability is a good example of a passive, or Spectre's counter is a good example of a passive.
Yep.
Versus Kronos' sharpshooter is going to be an active.
It's going to take a turn.
Exactly. And one of the cool things about engineers are a lot of their abilities are passives. Trapper is a passive. Well-equipped is a passive.
Seraph's Fortify.
The other engineer has Fortify, which gives the nearest ally additional armor. So something to keep in mind when you're drafting these operators and how many turns they're going to use and looking at your strategy.
Awesome. Well said. And just looking at my draft here, Tyrael, I'm going to probably run Kintsugi as a Sentinel. I got Seraph Kronos. Their faction bonus will remove one of his gadgets if he has any gadgets on his team. And I'll probably run Riot, another assassin with a multi-shot, which is pretty nice. Looking at weapons, so weapons are going to have 2 modifiers on them, damage and accuracy. So you can see some, like this Wedding Day, has a lot of damage but less accuracy. Then you have some like Death Wish that has a little bit less damage but higher accuracy. And when you equip things to a card, you'll see them update. So Kronos' base damage is 45 and base accuracy 70. If we equip this, not on the equipping side, we'll see it auto update soon. But that's what you're going to see on weapons. On armor, you're going to get health and then speed. Once again, speed's important in like determining priority on a turn, as well as movement across lanes. So you can see some have plus speed, some have minus speed. And then we have gadgets. And there's lots of gadgets, and they all do different things. And as Tyrael explained, some of them are passive and some of them are active. You can see if they're passive or active in the gadget card. Active will take a turn. Passive will not. So like armor-piercing bullets is just going to increase damage by 15 on your operator, but it's not going to take a turn to activate that. Kevlar jacket decreases incoming damage by 15. So, the opposite of inverse of that, also a passive. But then you have like a large barricade, which can block 150 damage, but that's going to take a turn to drop. So, Tyrael, I got some good operators. I'm not going to re-roll them. I got some good weapons. Not going to re-roll them. Got some good armor. So I'm gonna re-roll some gadgets. See what I can get some even better gadgets.
Nice.
I have 4 Kevlar jackets. Too bad they don't stack. I would do some annoying stuff.
Yeah, that sounds like you're in an ideal draft situation. So if you're re-rolling gadgets, that means you're usually looking pretty good because all of your armor rolls are great, all of your weapon rolls are great. Now you're just looking for optimal utility, right?
Yep.
So usually when I'm drafting, that's kind of the order that I'll go in as far as priority of drafting. I hardly ever will really re-roll an operator, just because I usually see some good synergies always right off the rip with the faction bonuses, and there's a lot of good ways that you can pair up these operators. So I feel like it's not really the best place to use my re-roll.
Agreed. So I'm re-rolling 2 earplugs and a decoy. And right now, Tyrael and I are really just fighting against each other. So some of these gadgets I feel like we don't use as much as maybe we would against other people.
Yeah, definitely. When you kind of like learn somebody's play style and their tendencies, it biases your draft for sure.
I also definitely think combining like earplugs and like amphetamines or something will be good. Nice. So we got another armor-piercing bullets. So we have 3 armor-piercing bullets. So I may be getting a little trolling on you here. So we have 4 legendaries, so it doesn't matter what we discard. But it's going to be a little...
You're in a great situation. 4 legendaries.
Yeah. So a little tricky.
Yes, something that's interesting to notice, too, so when you're looking at your weapons or your armor, particularly this is more common in weapons. So like, for example, a Death Wish, which is a legendary weapon, has 20 damage and 25 accuracy, right? And a rare weapon like a Proxy has 20 damage and 10 accuracy. So there's actually a parity in damage or in accuracy on different rarities of weapons, but the other stat is going to have like a disparity, right? So like you can make up that difference in stat sometimes with like a gadget, or maybe you can roll with the natural operator stats. Like, for example, that Silk has a naturally high accuracy, right? She has like a 70 accuracy. So okay, like I have this Proxy on here, I can throw the 20 damage and 10 accuracy and kind of get away with it, right? I'm still gonna have a very high damage output, still be pretty accurate without that additional gadget. So like
Yep.
you still have viability even between the different rarity ranges. Is essentially where I'm going with this.
So I'm gonna run Kintsugi, Riot, Seraph, Kronos. You can see I got 2 legendary armors, but this one has plus speed, a little less HP, but plus speed. So I'm going to put that on my Kintsugi, and hopefully that means my Kintsugi is rotating into lane. It has a speed of 10, so it's going to always rotate ahead of a Kronos with a speed of 7, or the Riot with a speed of 8. It's going to move slower than the Seraph, but I'll probably solo lane the Seraph anyways. So we'll put the other good HP on this, and this also brings Seraph down to an 8, so we know for sure Kintsugi's going to go last, or sorry, going to go first, rotate first. We got to get cute with this because it's going to plus speed them up. Yeesh. So that's where it can get a little bit tricky. And you can see the your card's going to update. So if we take this off, Kintsugi has 275 HP, now 400 HP, 10 speed. I got so many armor-piercing bullets. What I can do is definitely stack one on both of my assassins. And then we may just go straight passives here. I have this like unique ability.
If you have the right combinations, that can actually be an interesting lineup, especially if you're assassin heavy, right? Because then you're going to be able to like just pop damage off, and then you have some cool like you can use like prox bombs for a little AoE damage or C4, and then you can have like some counter gadgets mixed in there on like an engineer. Some cool options.
We know Kevlar Jacket doesn't stack, so I'm not going to do that. Maybe have Kintsugi put down a large barricade. Oh, the speed stuff is going to be a nuisance. So actually, yeah, we're going to do that because the Seraph's in a separate lane, so it's fine if that Seraph's going to come in first. And then that means we can put this minus speed and this minus speed. So 4 speed, 5 speed, 10 speed, 14 speed. And then we can equip our items. So we can go get that damage up to 80 and the accuracy to 95 on Kronos. That's nice. Good weapon here. Good weapon here. So we have good damage coming out and a lot of passives. I kind of like this. The alternative here is we could stack like 3 C4s onto the Seraph. But we're going to try out this passive build. Awesome. And then when you get to this overview, you have the ability to toggle with all actives, whether you use them immediately as soon as you encounter an opponent, or if you want to save them for when they rotate into the main room. So there's some situational reasons where you may want to get a little greedy and hold off until the main room to use one of your abilities. For example, like with Taunt with a Yeti, a lot of times you're probably saving that for the main room. Or with like frag grenades potentially. It's also going to be dependent on the lane positioning that you're going to want to run. So we're going to solo Seraph, and then we're going to go Kintsugi, Riot, Kronos, our weakest in the back. So we're going to run a 3-1 comp here. I'm going to commit as 26. And what vault are you running? Are you running 27?
I'm on 27.
Awesome.
Yeah, so I have.
So you got. Ooh, okay. This is disgusting. So I know Tyrael pretty well. I'm guessing it's going to be Kintsugi, Kent, Hazmat, Yeti. um,
Uh,
no,
I actually did not go that.
you bring the Kronos in, so you're going Kintsugi,
Yeah.
Kit, Hazmat, Kronos.
No. So I actually went Yeti, Hazmat, Kronos, Kintsugi.
No Kit.
Uh, no kit. And the idea here was that I ran a Kintsugi solo lane, and then I put Hazmat, Yeti, and Kronos into one lane. And my hope was here that I'm either going to be able to plug up one of your lanes with Kintsugi and you're going to be
Just have
busy
it
with
be a
him.
nuisance.
Exactly. Kintsugi essentially is going to be a nuisance. I hard protect the Kronos to output as much damage as I can. Then I have my utility gadgets on Hazmat, so I gave him some crowd control, and I gave him a barricade to put in front of the Yeti.
Nice.
And then I gave the Yeti some damage mitigation and a heal to
Med
try to
Kit.
keep him up.
Med
Yeah, to
Kit.
try to keep,
And
yeah, try to keep
nice.
him up. Um, so the hope is that the Kintsugi, is just a nuisance to you. You're busy trying to take him down because he, with the legendary armor and his self heal plus a med kit, is extremely beefy. Oh yeah, and a barricade. Sorry. Um, so that's a lot of HP that you essentially have to plow through with Kintsugi, um, either in the lane or the main, whichever one I catch you in. And then if I somehow manage to get like a 3v1 situation or something, with Yeti, Hazmat, Kronos, I'm feeling pretty good in a 3v1 situation or 3v2 situation with that lineup.
I like it. I like it.
All right, I'm gonna pretend I know absolutely nothing about what you just said, and now I'm gonna run a heist.
I forgot exactly what I did on defense. But for my attack, I'm going to run a Kronos. I'm going to do a 3-1 again, but I'm going to run the Kronos
Nice.
with armor piercing bullets. So 85 damage, 85 accuracy. Run the Seraph with armor piercing and a stock and a Kevlar solo lane. So
Okay.
250 HP. Going to be mitigating some damage and also putting out guaranteed 60 per turn and all passives. So it's going to start, making moves right away. And then we got our Riot with 75 damage, 95 accuracy, armor piercing. And then we got Kevlar on Kintsugi with a large barricade. Let's see how it goes.
I like it.
Alrighty. So we'll 3-1.
Yeah, and my
I'd be tempted to try the. Now that I know what you're doing, I'm obviously not going to do it, but I'd be tempted to try to solo the Riot or put the Riot with the Seraph for a 2-2. Are you running a 3-1?
yeah.
Maybe I'll just run a 2-2 so it's kind of fun to watch.
See what happens. Yeah.
Yeah.
One thing I was in a pretty tight position on this particular draft was I had no real good passives to throw on my Kronos. So I was kind of like, okay, because like I put a C4 on her, right? Which is cool in the sense it's going to give you some additional damage. It's passive. It's not taking up a turn.
Yep.
But it's not really like maximizing her ultimate or her just per turn damage. I'd much rather have a stock on there or an armor piercing bullets, something that's just giving her like a direct
Damage
increase,
yeah.
right? Because like the AOE is cool, but it's just not like leaning into her real strength, right?
Very much so. All right, and you're 26?
Yes.
Or wait, no, I'm 26. You're 27.
Sorry, yes, sorry. I'm initiating attack on 26 right now.
Nice. And I just submitted on 27.
Beautiful. All right, let's see how this plays down.
And if you all are playing quick match or tournament mode, it's going to be different than this. We just only have vault mode online right now, so that's why we're kind of like having to do this attack back and forth versus it just happening automatically.
Yeah.
Cool. So I just revealed my defense. Now we run combat. Always aggressive gas, which is built into me from 2021. All right. Let us see what happened.
It looks like
Defended.
MacArthur has notifications coming up too. Just got the notification you're on my vault.
You got pinged? That's fun.
Yeah, yeah, awesome.
That's awesome. All right, so I defended against you. I whooped your butt
Oh no,
at 3 alive. So
I just got out, dude. That's rough. I got breached and I got defended. I think I got too cute with this idea. I should have just gone Kent, and Yeti has that, but I wanted to mix the Chronos in, man. I wanted to try something a little different, you know?
yeah, so I ran the 3-1 on defense, and you ran a 3-1 on attack. My my Seraph went up against your 3 stack, and then
Oh, it's tough.
my 3 and your 1 didn't match up, so we rotate into main room. So we can see.
Yeah.
I rotate into main room. I take some decent damage here, so I take 150. I take 270 damage here, pretty early. So that's good on your end. We had some Kintsugi's healing back and forth. My Kronos did 130 damage to your Kintsugi. Big boy damage.
That hurts.
So first one to drop, not too surprising, is my Seraph tier 3 stack.
Lasted 3 turns though, which is good, right? He did his job in the sense he was a nuisance. He held the lane up. He did some damage. You know what I mean?
Did you solo lane the Kintsugi, right?
Yes. So the Kintsugi still has 78 HP, but he's about to get dumped on here.
Yeah, so my Seraph did 135 damage and gums you up for 3 turns. Not bad. We'll take that. Your Kintsugi drops turn 41. And I get your hazmat down pretty quickly after that. With my Kintsugi still at like 250 HP. So we go to like the last turn. Still was trying to get through my Kintsugi there at the end. So it was just my damage kind of overpowering. You only having 1 assassin and 2 tanks, 2 sentinels.
Yeah, part of it was too. I didn't have like the like basically me splitting. I think if it would have went a 4 lane, maybe it could have worked. Like I went all in 1 lane, maybe it could have worked. But I didn't have like after Kintsugi went down, and then Hazmat was just taking a bunch of damage. It was rough because Hazmat rotated in and was taking damage to the face.
Yeah, where I think the 2 tank can be viable is if like you get your Kintsugi to take a decent chunk of damage, and then your Yeti comes in and like taunts off. That's where I think it'd be interesting. So I ran a 2-2 against your 3-1. So your 1 goes up against my 2. And then your 3 stack, my 2 stack are going to rotate into main room. This time a little less damage. So you only had a prox bomb. When 1 prox bomb go off, my faction bonus removed 1 of them. Oh wait,
yeah,
no,
that's huge.
Yeah, no. You had 2 go off. So let's see how this one ended. A little bit close. Yeah, this one's much closer. So I had 2, and my Seraph was 1 tap from dying. So definitely a closer match. I think I just beat you on the damage.
Yeah, I went too cute of a lineup here with a single assassin. And maybe it could have worked if like I had. I don't think even a little bit more damage mitigation.
It's just interesting in this one because you only had like 160 proc explosive damage go off, and the other one you had like 250.
Yeah,
Well, sweet. That was a lot of fun. So I'm sure people that are trying to learn a little bit more about the game will find this useful. Cheers.
Yeah, GG's, dude. 0-2 this time. Next time I'll get you.
Yeah, I mean, you beat me before we went live. I just got lucky on this one.
GG's, man. Yeah,
Yep.
exciting to see the game coming along, man.
Yep. Cheers.